Welcome back to Philosophy versus Science. I'm your host, speaking for the voice of science, and tonight we're going deeper, much deeper. If you've listened to part 1, you'll remember Freud telling us God is an illusion, a wish, a father figure projected into the sky. If you haven't, don't worry, you can catch it later. For now, stay right here, because this episode stands on its own. Why? Because tonight isn't just about ideas, it's about evidence, real discoveries. We're bringing Freud face to face with things he never lived to see, brain scans of prayer, hormone studies, early psychology experiments that pulled the mind away from the church. So buckle in. This is going to be scientific, historical, and maybe even personal. 2 voices, 1 eternal question, and you're the jury. Freud, shall we continue where we left off? Before Freud could call religion an illusion, other scientists were already poking holes in the mystery of the mind. And this matters because it shows the stage Freud walked onto. Picture this. It's the mid-1800s. Most people think thoughts are sacred, untouchable, maybe even part of the soul. Then, Hermann von Helmholtz times the speed of a nerve impulse using a frog's leg, about 30 meters per second. Suddenly, even thought has a speed limit. The soul starts to look like electricity. Then Gustav Fechner comes along and asks, how much brighter does a candle need to be before you notice the difference? He invents psychophysics, basically proving that even our private experiences follow measurable laws. And in 1861, Paul Broca finds that patients who can't speak all have damage in the same spot of the brain's left side. That's Broca's area. Suddenly, language, one of the most human things we do, is tied to brain tissue. By 1879, Wilhelm Wundt opens the first psychology lab in Leipzig. The message was clear. The mind isn't just for priests and philosophers anymore. It belongs in the lab. And that's the world Freud walked into.
And I took it further. Where Helmholtz measured nerves and Broca mapped speech, I uncovered the unconscious, the hidden desires, the repressions, the dream logic that shape us. And when I looked at religion, I saw it too. Not revelation, but wish. God as the Father magnified.
And tonight, we'll put that claim under a microscope. With neuroscience, psychology, and history, Freud never got to see. Jury, take notes. This is where the fun begins. Okay, imagine this. You're lying in an fMRI scanner. The machine hums around you. A researcher says, pray, really pray. What happens in the brain? Studies on Franciscan nuns and Tibetan monks show prayer and meditation activate the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain you use for focus and planning. The anterior cingulate cortex lights up too. That's the area that helps regulate emotions. At the same time, the parietal orientation area quiets down, the part that normally maps where you end and the world begins. The result, people report feeling united with God or losing themselves in something bigger. Science calls it deactivation. Believers call it transcendence. It doesn't stop there. Prayer also calms the amygdala, the brain's alarm system for fear and threat. That means less anxiety, less stress. It lowers cortisol, the hormone your body pumps out during pressure, like when you're taking an exam or stuck in traffic. And rituals, singing, chanting, dancing, they trigger surges of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is the same chemical that helps mothers bond with newborns. It's trust, connection, forgiveness, in molecular form. Even wilder, in firewalking ceremonies, researchers measured heart rates. Not only did the walkers' hearts sync up, so did the hearts of their family watching. Ritual literally pulled bodies into rhythm. So, Freud, here's the test. You called religion an illusion, but these effects, they're real, they're measurable, and they're powerful.
And yet, they prove me right. Illusions are strongest when they feel real. The placebo pill calms pain without medicine. The sugar tablet has no power, but the belief does. Religion works the same way. A dream that soothes, that it calms the amygdala or lowers cortisol, shows only that fantasy can calm fear.
True, but placebos heal individuals. Religion synchronizes entire societies. It shapes cooperation, punishes cheaters, helps groups survive, that's more than a private dream. That's a survival strategy. And morality. Even toddlers too young for church protest unfairness. Their brains already show the insular firing, that's the disgust center, when something feels unjust, and the ventral striatum, the reward center, lights up when they help others. Morality is biological before it is theological. Religion amplifies it, but it doesn't invent it. So, jury, if religion rewires brains, calms bodies, and binds societies, is it still an illusion? Or is it something more? Hold that thought. We're going wider. Freud wasn't alone. Other pioneers fought with the same question, and with the church itself. William James studied religious experiences in the varieties of religious experience. He argued, don't ask if they're true. Ask if they'd change lives. Courage, healing, moral growth. For James, those fruits mattered. Carl Jung, Freud's own student, broke away. He saw God as an archetype in the collective unconscious, not just a wish, but a symbol our psyche needs. Emil Durkheim said religion is society worshipping itself. Rituals, he argued, glue communities together, and modern science on ritual synchrony, like firewalking, backs him up. Ivan Pavlov showed conditioned responses. How bells can make dogs salivate. Translate that. Rituals can train reverence, making sacredness feel automatic. And the church, it fought tooth and nail. In 1907, Pope Pius VI condemned modernism, the attempt to interpret faith with psychology and science. In 1927, Freud doubled down with The Future of an Illusion, calling religion a collective neurosis. By 1961, the Vatican's Holy Office had warned clergy against psychoanalysis. It was a war of authority, God versus the unconscious.
Yes, James romanticized, Jung mystified, Durkheim sociologized. They all softened the blow. I kept it sharp. Religion is illusion. Soothing, adaptive, but illusion nonetheless.
But maybe the real question isn't whether religion is illusion, but what kind of illusion it is. A personal fantasy or a biosocial technology, a system that rewires brains, bonds communities, and stabilizes civilizations. That's not just illusion. That's architecture. All right, jury, you've heard the case. Freud says religion is a wish, a father in the sky, projection, and nothing more. Science shows prayer calms the brain's alarm system, rituals release bonding chemicals, morality sprouts in toddlers before theology, and other founders saw religion as archetype, solidarity, or transformation. Who do you trust? Let's hear their final words.
My conclusion is unchanged. Religion is humanity's oldest dream, protective, forgiving, punishing. It comforts and civilizes, yes, but it is not true. Maturity means letting go of childish wishes, facing life without illusions.
And mine is this. Maybe Freud is right. Religion begins as wish. But look at the evidence. Prayer reshapes attention and emotion. Rituals synchronize heartbeats. Oxytocin bonds strangers. Infants demand fairness before priests ever preach. Perhaps God is illusion, or perhaps he hides inside the very illusions Freud described. Either way, the truth is not finished, and tomorrow we're not finished either. We'll test Freud's theory against modern research on trauma and resilience. Can belief really help people survive grief, illness, even war? And if it does that make it illusion or lifeline? That's where we go next. So, jury, who wins tonight? Freud's sharp realism or science's restless wonder? The verdict doesn't live here. It lives in you. Share your reasoning in the comments and come back tomorrow as we push Freud further. Subscribe if you want to follow every resurrection, but most of all, let your voice complete tonight's debate.